Hey there guys, so I think we can all give Luke Campbell a round of applause because that performance probably would have won him the fight against many world champions. It was just that he was in there with a quality operator. In fact, not even a quality operator, an elite level fighter. Maybe even a level above that if there is one, because Lomachenko is an incredible fighter and Luke Campbell was doing all the right things, and perhaps he has the blueprint to beat Lomachenko in there somewhere because the rounds were quite close. I don't think that you could say that Lomachenko was absolutely schooling Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell did cause him some problems because he hurt Lomachenko, I think, in what was, I'm pretty sure, the 7th round. But it's just Lomachenko had another gear. He was going through the gears from the first and second round. He was feeling his way into the fight, and once he found his rhythm, and he seemed to figure out Luke Campbell. Although Luke Campbell was doing a good job of changing things up and trying to keep it creative in there, but ultimately Lomachenko is just too good at what he does. But as I said, if Luke Campbell was fighting many other world champions, he would have won that fight. And as long as he stays headstrong and comes back stronger, I believe he will be world champion. He can be a great champion also. It's just, he was in there with one of the greatest ever. And you cannot begrudge Luke Campbell for giving it a go because he gave it a valiant effort. After losing to Linares and obviously that Ivan Mendy fight, which he did avenge, if you had Luke Campbell from the Lomachenko fight in there with Linares, then he would destroy him. Because I believe that Luke Campbell has the quality of rising to his opponent. We've seen it last night. If Luke Campbell can rise to the occasion and rise to the fighter he is in with, then that is a very good quality to have, especially in world title fights, which I expect him to be back into very, very soon. Maybe one fight back, and then he could jump straight back in. It's just whether fighters want to fight him, especially after that performance. Of course, fighting on the undercard was Hughie Fury, fighting Alexander Povetkin. Now, going into this fight, I was actually giving Hughie Fury a big chance of winning. I had Hughie Fury winning this fight, to be honest. I thought that Hughie Fury could do it. But Alexander Povetkin, it wasn't a great performance, but he done enough to win. People were saying, I'm glad Fury Povetkin is over. I saw that a lot on Twitter. It wasn't really a great fight. It wasn't a barn burner. I thought it was going to be a lot better than it was. And I just think that Hughie Fury tries to box too much with his jab. He tries to be awkward and hard to hit and push that jab out. He doesn't really even do it with that much intent. He needs to really step into that jab, get some power behind it, and make his opponents feel the weight of it. But he didn't do enough to win. He boxed adequately, but he didn't fight enough. That's the problem. Alexander Povetkin basically won the fight based on his aggression, in my personal opinion, because I think it was closer. If you score the rounds, I'd say it was a lot closer than what the scorecards actually showed. It was 117 to 113 on all of the scorecards, whereas I had it a lot closer than that. But it's just the judges were scoring it based off of Alexander Povetkin's aggression in there. And I just think that Hughie Fury needs to go back to his drawing board. He cannot keep going in there with fighters like Pulev, Joseph Parker, and Povetkin, because although he gives a reasonable account of himself, he is losing those fights. And he needs to be winning them. If he has aspirations to become a world champion, he needs to be winning those fights. Put any three of them in with Tyson Fury and he'll beat the lot of them. And I know you can't compare them, but their style is quite similar. Hughie Fury does adopt that similar sort of style, but he's not as elusive, and his punch variation is not as good as Tyson Fury's. Now, I know it seems like I'm just focusing on the negatives, where there are positives to take from it also. He took a good shot from Povetkin. He has a very good chin. Now, ultimately, going forward, I think he needs to drop this whole elusive boxing from the outside style. It's not his game. He's clearly not good enough at it. He's good against lower opposition, but as I said, when he gets to world level, it seems to fail him. So I think he needs to focus a little bit more on perhaps putting on a little bit more weight, perhaps trying to trade on the inside, something like that, because although he is a tall heavyweight, he is not the tallest out there. So perhaps putting on a little bit more weight and learning to get close to his opponents and work on the inside, work to the body a little bit more. And instead of just firing out that jab, which is quite weak to be honest, I think to be honest he needs to come off the jab, really step into it, and then throw combinations, because he doesn't throw combinations. He throws one shot at a time, two shot at a time. I think he needs to put his punches together a lot better. As I said, maybe go back to the drawing board, have a 5-fight plan before he steps back up to world level. Switch his style up a little bit, because he's 24, he's got plenty of time to get back to world level. He could wait until he's 28 to have another world level fight. He has that time. Time is on his side. So there's no reason why he should be jumping back in with fighters like Povetkin at this stage. He needs to go back to the drawing board, and I think Hughie Fury can be a very good fighter, but he must adapt his game, because this long-range boxing and that pouring jab just isn't working for him. He needs to really fire that jab out, really step into it. I think that is what he needs to do. That's one thing he can start on straight away, I believe. But Hughie Fury will be back, and I hope to see him back in the ring and trading up a little bit more. Really get in there with mean intentions to hurt his opponent. That is what he needs to do. Instead of trying to box his opponent, he needs to get in there and think, I want to have a fight with this guy. That's what he does at a lower level. That's what he needs to do at world level now. But guys, what are your thoughts on this? The win for Lomachenko over Luke Campbell. How much do you rate Luke Campbell's performance? And what are your thoughts on Hughie Fury fighting Povetkin? Did you have it closer than the scorecards? And do you believe that Hughie Fury can come back from this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, click the thumbs up, and subscribe if you are new. Thanks guys.